it's Nell, and this is my book cover tutorial. First, hey, it's Nell, and welcome to my book cover tutorial. First, the things that you're going to need. You're going to need some sort of paper to make your pattern, your fabric, pen, pencil, whatever to mark out your fabric, the base of your boot cover, of your boot, and for this example, a leg pattern, preferably for your own leg, and I'll show you how that's used later. So before we start actually making the pattern and the boot cover, I'm going to talk a little bit about two different ways that I make my boot covers. I make two different types. I make a boot cover on a shoe that I never plan on wearing without the boot cover, and then I make a slight modification if I do plan on using the shoes either for a different costume or just regular everyday walking around. An example of the first is this one. So this is a boot cover that's dirty now that I made for my Blake costume from Ruby that I never finished. So I started with this super ugly, super cheap green wedged booty. Had this like nasty fringe on it, and it was just nothing that I ever planned on wearing again. So I was able to glue the boot cover down on around the sole and then glue a sole on top of it. What this does, it's easier. Your boot cover doesn't slip around, which it can happen sometimes. And the only negative is that you can never wear the plain old boot by itself again, which, trust me, in the case of this original shoe, not a bad thing. I think this one is way cuter. Downside is, since I use fabric for the sole of my boot covers, they can tend to be a little slippery, but most conventions that I go to, the floors are carpeted, so I don't really have that big of a problem when it comes to traction. So the second type of boot cover, if I can find it, there it is. What you can't see is that everything that's not in this frame is a friggin' mess. So bear with me as I have to try and find things as they fall. So this is a boot cover that I've used for my combat boots, which are here. I wear these boots all of the time, in costume, out of costume. I wear them for like 3 different costumes. So I make these kind of sock boot covers, and this really helps you get your bang for your buck when it comes to purchasing your shoes for your boot cover, for your boots, for your cosplay, actually, is what I wanted to say. So I highly recommend this sock method because you can save a ton of money when it comes to shoes. Things you need to consider when you're purchasing your base shoes. I personally like to try and find a shoe that I will wear normally. Making sure that it's the right size, making sure that it's comfortable. Now, there's a benefit to that. And that benefit is if you wear them before you have to wear them for your costume, you can break them in. It's a bad idea, a really super bad idea, to wear a shoe for a costume the first day that you're wearing that costume. Just a super, super bad idea. You want to be able to break in your shoes ahead of time. You want to be comfortable when you get to a convention. You're going to be in this costume for many hours. And this is going to be the shoe insert of my boot cover. Now, on to making the pattern for this.